practice, so I'm really on their side. I am a recovering doctor myself. He said, "Hi, I'm a recovering doctor. I'm Jeff." "Hi, Jeff."
Hi, Jeff.
All right, so this piece is called Patient's Expectations. In the late 1970s, I offered a community college course called Philosophy of Health. No one came. When I added holistic to the title, this being California, we couldn't find enough chairs. We spent one session role-playing. People paired off, and for 5 minutes, one partner played patient and one played doctor. Then they switched roles, and finally we talked about it. Each time we did this exercise, students commented on the polar differences they discovered. The composite review was, when I played doctor, I felt intelligent and competent. I felt in control, or at least that I needed to look that way. I also felt inordinately responsible, pushed to do something, anything. I was surprised that it wasn't pleasant. Neither was the patient role, where I felt relatively ignorant, dependent, and even physically small. These disparities conspire to make the patient-doctor relationship feel vertical, like that of student and teacher. A common perception among patients is that doctors know and perform at an almost superhuman level. This notion results partly from popular culture's glorification of physicians as heroic action figures. Consider television's, oh, how many of you remember this? Television's Dr. Conrad Steiner. Does anybody remember? Otto, you must remember, but Otto was probably
It's Casey.
Dr. Kildare. Yeah.
You bunch of young whippersnappers. Conrad Steiner was the doctor in a show called Medic in the 1950s, played by Richard Boone, who went on to play Paladin.
Reruns hadn't started yet.
But anyway, he's part of the lineage. And the beginning of every Medic episode was the narrator illuminating like a logo. And with a very serious voice, he'd say, "Medic, the eye of an eagle, the heart of a lion, the hand of a woman." You can find us online. The address is in the book here. So there's Dr. Conrad Steiner, Dr. Ben Casey, Star Trek's Bones McCoy, Dr. House. We never see any of these champions quietly sitting with a patient, do we? On the contrary, they're can-do go-getters who suddenly realize that the correct diagnosis is tetanus. They run to the bedside and push the intravenous antitoxin, stat. Curing tetanus, stat, is a good thing. When we truly need it, medical technology can be miraculous. But our pop culture fantasy has us expecting and even demanding that docs apply technology willy-nilly. Despite abundant evidence to the contrary, we believe medical high-tech can vanquish every enemy unto the Grim Reaper. For example, a study of how cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, is portrayed on television found that it was successful in 3/4 of the cases, and 2/3 of these patients went home. A study of 99,000 actual CPR cases found that 228 patients went home. That's not 75%, that's 1/5 of 1%. The rarity of success doesn't mean we shouldn't try, only that our expectations need trimming. The wishful thinking flame is fanned by infomercials touting the latest breakthroughs, and magazine ads advising us to ask our doctor if a daily dose of Panacea, TM, will repair our lives. Inundated with messages suggesting that doctors can cure whatever ails us, anything patients can contribute seems negligible in comparison. In any case, the very quantity of these ads reinforces the myth that healthcare is exclusively the application of technology. While they romanticize biomedicine's technical capabilities, patients sorely miss any plain old comforting that's been omitted from their healthcare. My friend Richard broke his hand and suffered facial injuries in an auto accident. He was promptly triaged in a trauma center, his lacerations stitched, and then was left alone. Lying on a gurney, he discovered his condition was rosy compared to others who were brought in with missing limbs and still hearts. So he resolved to wait patiently. 14 hours later, a nurse came and put an ice pack on his hand. While convalescing, Richard told me, a trauma center can be too hectic a place for much personal attention. I understand that. Yet even Walmart employs greeters. I had injuries that needed attention, but more than anything else, I was hurting too. Me, my insides, the part that doesn't show. I was terrified, disoriented. I was vulnerable. Even a volunteer hanging out with me for a few minutes would have made a world of difference. For the patient-doctor relationship to revive, the two parties will need to develop a realistic view of each other. The day will come when patients drop their illusions about biomedicine's capabilities, and doctors look past the diagnosis to notice and attend to suffering. Pediatrician Robert Mendelsohn put it more succinctly in his 1979 book, Confessions of a Medical Heretic. He wrote, "We physicians will come down off our pedestals as soon as patients get up off their knees." Thank you. Well, a couple questions, because I did see